Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe 50 million.
Just with those two fights, Canelo and the Pacquiao fight, 400 million, just with those two fights.
Imagine getting a letter from the IRS saying you owe millions in taxes. That is how Floyd Mayweather got knocked out by the IRS.
Stephen A. Smith, widely recognized for his outspoken and direct opinions, has raised questions about the financial situation surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr. Smith pointed to what he believes are contradictions between Mayweather's public claims about earning enormous amounts of money from fights and the financial issues that have reportedly followed him, including disputes connected to the IRS. According to Stephen A. Smith, a figure with Mayweather's level of fame, success, and wealth should not still be facing these kinds of financial complications. He also suggested that ongoing legal and monetary problems could eventually influence the way people remember Floyd's legacy in the sport overall. Smith's comments focus on the contrast between Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s public image of overwhelming financial power and the reports of legal and financial challenges connected to his name.
Comes up to about $140 million that you're throwing around. I don't understand this, but here's all I gotta say. For those of you that are looking at him and you're saying to yourself, excuse me, according to the reports, he makes about $1.5 million per show or whatever. Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe 50 million.
In his analysis, Stephen A. Smith openly questioned some of the financial choices connected to Floyd Mayweather Jr., saying it was surprising to see someone who earned such extraordinary amounts of money continue facing financial disputes and public controversy. According to Smith, those situations create concerns not only about financial management, but also about how Mayweather's image could be affected within the sports world. Stephen A. Smith emphasized that maintaining financial discipline is extremely important for athletes operating at the highest level of fame and success. He also suggested that Mayweather's reported circumstances could become a warning example for other athletes, showing how money management decisions may eventually influence the way a career, reputation, and legacy are remembered over time.
You know, kind of sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. John Gotti III, I don't know anything about him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. And yes, I'm being smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the grandson of a mobster. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this. When you're great, when you're elite, not just anybody deserves to be in your pristine space. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about on the street or anything like that. Boxing is your thing.
Floyd Mayweather Jr., famously recognized by the nickname Money Mayweather, has spent years building a public image centered around enormous wealth and financial success. Throughout his career, he frequently pointed to the massive earnings generated from major fights, particularly his blockbuster matchups with Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez. The 2015 fight against Pacquiao alone reportedly produced more than $400 million in overall revenue, with Mayweather receiving a huge share of that amount. However, public discussion about his finances intensified after reports emerged that the IRS placed a lien connected to approximately $22.2 million in unpaid taxes from 2015. The situation sparked renewed attention toward how Mayweather's wealth was being handled, especially because his public persona has long been associated with luxury, cash, and financial dominance. Floyd Mayweather Jr. later responded to controversy by saying he had already paid $26 million in taxes for that same year. He dismissed concerns about his financial stability and maintained that his finances remained secure and fully under control. Even so, the contrast between Mayweather's image of overwhelming wealth and the reported tax dispute continued, fueling debate about the challenges that can come with managing massive earnings at the highest level of sports.
He's fighting again, and they say that he's fighting for money. How could that be?
Your team. You know, it's all about who you surround yourself with. I don't know who's his promoter. I gave him the option before. Well, Manny spoke before about fighting the first time. I think I offered him, 40 million. I don't know if it was, but I told him I would wire him 20 million within 48 hours. And then at that particular time, he said he wanted 50-50, and he got off the phone. And at that time, I think I was going to make for that fight probably 75 million at that time, somewhere upwards of 75 million. But it's all about timing. Took my time, I waited, we communicated,
Floyd Mayweather Jr. has frequently spoken about the difficult conditions he experienced growing up before becoming one of boxing's biggest stars. During his childhood, he lived with several family members in a small one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey, and there were periods when the family struggled with extremely tough living situations, including times without basic utilities. He has also discussed the personal challenges surrounding his upbringing, including his mother's battle with addiction and the years his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., spent in prison while he was still young. Even through those hardships, Mayweather found purpose in boxing. He has explained that those experiences forced him to become independent early in life and helped shape the mindset that later defined his career. After returning, Floyd Mayweather Sr. became an important influence, teaching him the value of discipline, focus, and letting his performances inside the ring speak louder than outside attention. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has often described his mentality with the phrase, "It's never good enough," using it to represent his constant push for improvement and his refusal to be distracted by criticism or outside opinions. Throughout his career, he remained locked in on success and continued chasing higher goals regardless of public reaction. His journey is often viewed as an example of determination and persistence, showing how he rose from a difficult childhood to become one of the most successful figures in boxing history.
Before I can take care of anyone outside the home, I must take care of home first. So what I believe in every day is I strengthen my children and my family by giving them wisdom about life. In the boxing world, my dad taught me also, the less you get hit, the longer you can last in the sport of boxing. That's in anything in life. For a person that's working a 9 to 5, an everyday job, you want to take as less punishment as possible on the job so you can last a very long time and feed your family. And then my dad also taught me this. It's never good enough, no matter what. It's never good enough.
Stephen A. Smith has repeatedly questioned Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s decision to continue competing in exhibition fights against opponents many people do not consider elite-level competition, including Conor McGregor. Smith has wondered why Mayweather still takes part in these events despite already owning enormous amounts of money during his career, including a reported $280 million from the McGregor fight. According to Smith, those appearances seem driven more by financial opportunity than by the pursuit of true competition, though he also argued that participating in those kinds of exhibitions could eventually affect how Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s legacy is viewed. Smith pointed out that athletes of Mayweather's stature are usually expected to face top-level opponents, and he believes the level of competition in many of Floyd's later appearances does not match the standard he faced during his prime years. Because of that, Smith feels those events may influence how future generations remember his career. In addition, Stephen A. Smith highlighted what he sees as a contradiction between Mayweather's image of overwhelming wealth and the financial issues tied to him publicly, including the reported $22.2 million IRS tax lien connected to 2015. Smith questioned how someone associated with such massive earnings could still encounter those problems, suggesting that stronger financial management may have avoided those situations. Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s reputation has also been shaped by his public displays of wealth and generosity. In May 2024, reports spread online claiming that he handed $30,000 in cash to 3 homeless individuals near Crypto.com Arena. While many people praise the story, questions later emerged after Mayweather posted content from Dubai around the same time. His apparent presence overseas caused some observers to question the timeline and accuracy of the reports surrounding the incident.
Where is Floyd Mayweather? Is he still stuck in Dubai? Is he back in the United States? Because, there's been a lot of contradicting stories coming out about this, but we do have an update of exactly what's going on. And I do think there is some lying involved. I don't know who's lying, but somebody is lying. And that's what we're going to figure out in today's video. By the end of this video, I hope we figure out where Floyd Mayweather is. So on the 2nd of May, TMZ came out with this article. It says Floyd Mayweather gives $30K to group of homeless men before Clippers game. Now this comes amid, rumors of Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai because he owes people money. And, these are coming from trustworthy sources, Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather, people who know about Floyd Mayweather's inner life. But back to TMZ. So they reported Floyd Mayweather was courtside for last night's pivotal Clippers versus Mavericks game, but before money got to the arena, he was handing it out, blessing 3 homeless men with $30K. Now, there are no pictures, there is no video of this happening, but there is an official TMZ article, and TMZ usually gets it right. TMZ also said, "We're told Mayweather began talking to the guys and decided he wanted to help, so he busted out his backpack and blessed each guy with 10 racks.
This situation demonstrates how difficult it can be for public figures to manage their image once media attention and public scrutiny intensify. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was recently connected to reports about a charitable act in Los Angeles that quickly spread across social media and news platforms. Soon after, however, questions began surfacing about the timing of the story, causing some people to wonder whether the event happened exactly as it was originally described at the same time. Mayweather appeared to be in Dubai, which added more uncertainty to the situation. The contrast between the reported act in Los Angeles and his apparent overseas location led to speculation that the story may have been presented in a way that benefited his public image. While charitable stories often strengthen a celebrity's reputation, inconsistencies surrounding those reports can sometimes create the opposite reaction. In this case, the uncertainty surrounding the timeline caused some observers to question the credibility of the claims and whether publicity may have played a role in how the story was shared. The episode also showed how quickly public narratives can be challenged once conflicting details appear. It became another example of how important verifiable facts are when high-profile figures are involved, and it contributed to even more scrutiny surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s public image overall. Beyond that controversy, Mayweather has continued facing public attention tied to his financial matters despite being regarded as one of boxing's most successful athletes. During his career, he earned enormous amounts of money, including a reported $220 million from his 2015 fight against Manny Pacquiao. Even so, financial discussions intensified after the IRS filed a federal tax lien in 2017 connected to approximately $22.2 million in unpaid taxes from 2015.in response. Floyd Mayweather Jr. requested additional time from the U.S. tax court, explaining that he wanted to delay payment until after his 2017 fight with Conor McGregor, an event expected to generate major revenue. Mayweather stated that a large portion of his assets was not immediately liquid, making instant payment more difficult. The IRS, however, argued that his level of income suggested he still had the ability to meet those obligations. These developments continued fueling debate about Mayweather's financial management, with critics questioning whether his spending habits and financial structure support long-term stability. Although he still participates in exhibition events, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has maintained that those appearances are based more on personal interest in entertainment than financial need.
But he's just flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS. You cannot do this. No. You will lose. This is one foe you can't outrun or outdance or outsmart or play defense on. You just can't get away with it. You can try for a while, but the clock is just, that meter is just running and running and running, and it's just going straight up. Interest and penalties. Yes! As we speak. Another day just passed, another interest penalty. And I don't get Floyd, because he's so out there with it, as you say, on Instagram. So it's not like he's trying to hide his opulence. He is throwing it out for all to see with all those cars and all the, it's outrageous, and he's earned it.
Joe Rogan recently reacted with surprise while discussing the lavish lifestyle and spending habits of Floyd Mayweather Jr. During a podcast conversation, Rogan spoke about Mayweather's collection of luxury possessions, including expensive watches, diamond jewelry, and other high-end purchases. He pointed out that maintaining a lifestyle at that level requires a constant flow of income and enormous ongoing expenses over time. Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s financial situation has continued drawing public attention, especially regarding tax-related matters. In 2017, the IRS filed a lien claiming that he owed roughly $22.2 million in unpaid taxes connected to 2015, the same year he reportedly earned massive revenue from his fight with Manny Pacquiao. Although Mayweather later stated that he had already paid approximately $26 million in taxes during that period, questions continue because of the reported differences surrounding the case. More recently, reports in 2024 indicated that Floyd Mayweather Jr. paid more than $18 million to the IRS, showing that tax obligations remain an important issue even after his full-time boxing career ended. The situation had become another example of how complicated managing massive wealth can be, even for athletes who earned extraordinary amounts of money during their careers. According to Joe Rogan, the discussion ultimately highlights the importance of long-term financial discipline and careful money management, no matter how successful or wealthy someone becomes.
I owe that money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money that there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats. You can sell those.
Hall, who previously worked with Floyd Mayweather Jr., described Floyd as someone who viewed extremely large amounts of money very casually. According to Hall, figures such as $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 were often treated as relatively insignificant because of the enormous income Mayweather generated throughout his career. Hall suggested that Floyd operated with a mindset that those amounts were too small to seriously impact his overall wealth at the same time. Dave Hall explained that this kind of approach can create financial concerns when managing massive investments in business ventures. He pointed to examples involving commercial real estate and shopping centers valued around $100 million, where the structure of profits and taxes becomes extremely important. Hall noted that even a $10 million profit can lead to very different tax consequences depending on how the transaction is organized and managed. Without careful planning, those situations can create significantly larger financial obligations. The discussion highlighted how essential detailed financial oversight and long-term tax planning become for individuals operating at extremely high income levels. Hall also mentioned that changes in tax laws and financial regulations can increase risks even further if assets are not managed properly. His comments are often viewed as a reminder that regardless of how much money someone owns, maintaining long-term financial stability still requires discipline, organization, and careful planning.